welcome back to another episode of POGcraft. And today, I think it's time for us to start making wood. I got everything else set up and ready to go. And then I think later on we're going to probably get to the iron farm and maybe the bridge as well. We'll have to see. So let's get started on that. Okay, so there it is, completed. Don't mind the purple, that just means that it's supposed to be air. This is not my own design, and of course I hit record, so we're heading into nights. I'll show you what I mean in a moment, but technically that is not actually my own original design. I'm not that skilled. Yeah. Come on, son. I could cut this out, but I mean, whatever. We're already here. There are a couple of changes that I have had to make to this design over the years. And I did test it in my other single-player world, and it did work. Although there's one thing that I'm not sure if I got it set right or not on that version of it. So, originally this is a mumbo jumbo design. This is his last tree farm before he became obsessed with getting single stacks of logs and then got yelled at in his comments because, you usually want more than one stack when you build a tree farm at a time. But the two modifications I've had to make to this one over the years, this I had to increase the delay because it was going too quick and so it wouldn't keep it going correctly. The other change is a little bit harder to tell unless you know what to look for. But back here, they changed the redstone so that if it's not pointing directly into that block, it doesn't power that block. Because the original was just a zigzag going up the side and it would power it and off to the races. Also, after having completed it and not having a block there I believe is a block there in the tutorial version, but I think it might have got deleted before then and I just didn't notice until now. But this is what the bone meal farm is for. Also, one other quick little thing to do that isn't going to be mentioned in any tutorials or anything. If I could remember where I put them. I'm going to use a block of light. But essentially what you need to do with wherever... here we go. Wherever you put the logs for storage, because this is not a TNT based farm, it is a manual harvest only farm. There's no light sources above the logs, so if it gets dark, things will spawn on top of your block. I can't remember exactly where I need to put it. But with the changes in lights, I'm pretty sure it should be fine, like there. If it's not enough, we'll find out. I'm not gonna go quite that high. But literally, like, off the side of this. And I hate, that's one of the things I hate about scaffolding. Because I don't really want to put it on top of the scaffolding. Well, I can. There's actually something like right there, maybe. But I won't know until I complete it. Since typically it's on this side. If you don't have a light source up there, it's spawnable. Also, that slab is very specific on how high it goes. You're supposed to be able to do all of the one wide saplings that only go straight. So, oak, one wide spruce, one wide jungle, and birch trees are what this will do. It doesn't do any of like the acacia or any of the fancier trees. And it predates mangrove, cherry, and pale oak. And it won't do dark oak, obviously. You need 4 saplings for that. But that is what the bone meal is for. And I'll bring you back after I've at least partially filled it with bone meal. Alright. Now I don't have it filled up all the way to the top. I'm going to get more saplings than that. This is probably the most bone meal intensive thing I'm going to do. Unless I start building like out of bone blocks somewhere. But I'm pretty sure I got everything in place. And so this is probably not going to work, is it? Yeah, you won't know if you don't try. Turn it down some more. Ow. Oh yeah, it's gonna put a block there. I might as well since it's not powered anyways. But that's the basics of how this works. And then I need to put some scaffolding. I'll probably do like stairs or something in the building that I put around it at some point. But if I do this right, looks like it's working. Excellent. And of course, obviously there's more to do with it. We do need to have a floor of some description underneath, as well as I need to give access to up there. Plus there's, not everything is going to be going over here like it's supposed to go. And then the other side over here. But yeah, one of the downsides of some of the changes they made over the years is that you end up with stuff everywhere. But it looks like it works. And of course, little tweaks and adjustments to it here and there. Yeah, because that's not in blueprint. I'm going to be turning off the blueprints in between clips here. And I'll bring you guys back in a little while. Pushes up nerd glasses. Actually, I think I need to test to make sure that it'll work with the spruce and stuff. So I remember there being a problem. Looks like it does. Alright, spruce works. Let's go grab the birch and jungle as well. Because those should also work. At one point, in one iteration of my build of that farm, it wasn't working. I don't have any birch. I don't have any. I have jungle. This is gonna probably suck because jungle's stingy. But with where I was going, I have had issues in the past where it didn't want to grow those at all. Oh, good. We got at least one sapling back. Possibly more. That is one of those changes. I'm glad they at least partially fixed the stupid suck through the block thing. I know there's a lot of people like, oh well, it's useful and handy and blah blah, and I don't care. It's annoying because it's not supposed to do that. You're pulling things through solid blocks. Anyway, good to know that that works for those. That sapling slab is in the right spot. Anyways, back to trying to find something to do for the rest of the video. I had a thought. What if we try doing a little bit of design work on camera here? Because I know this is going to be a bridge. And I think what I want to try and do is make it be even. And then of course we remove that all the way across. Doesn't have to go up super high either. Gonna have to remove my sign because it's in the way. And of course I didn't make enough slabs, so we're gonna have to go get more. Fortunately, it's not that far. I think I was going to make a full half stack of slabs, but oh well. Let's make a few more. Make a few more slabs. Nothing too fancy with it. We're gonna be doing all of the edging and stuff like the rest of the roads. But before that, let's see if we can get the shape in. That's not a slab, that's a rocket. That's not gonna work very well. And same thing over here. And I don't actually know how wide this is altogether. But I don't think I want to go up a whole lot higher than that. Maybe we'll stretch that out a little bit. I'll think on it a little bit, and I'll be right back. Well, I have an arc, but I was hoping for something a little bit flatter. This is with it going out 3, and the one in the middle ends up being 4. So maybe 4, a couple sets of 4. Like 4 there, 4 there. And then the rest be out straight across. I'll do that real quick, and I'll be right back. While I'm humming and hawing on this, I've got them next to each other, and this is with those being 4s, which leaves a 4 in the middle. But I think the right call here is just to go straight across, which we can't do because we're sticking in the middle of it. And ignoring the one behind it, because I do want it to arc, but I don't want it to be a huge, like, giant arch. It goes way high up. But I think the sugarcane. I think that'll work. So let me fill this out a bit, and I will be back with you guys. Sitting here staring at us. And that's not, that is not free cam. That is the wrong button. And I think we've got that part in. I forgot about that this end when I was placing the blocks. We're gonna have to do some landscaping to bring the road and the terrain up to each other. But other than a major lack of legs, I think we're good on that. So I'm going to have a shape, unless somebody else does. And I think I'm going to grab the shears and take down the scaffold thing. And we'll see where it goes from there. I totally wasn't just jabbing away. I think that's what I'm going to go with right there. I did poke around with it a little bit and tried moving those forward, but if I make that thicker, you can't pass underneath it, and I do think I want to allow things to pass underneath the bridge. It looks a little funny, but that's because that end doesn't have road and that end does. But I think that's what I'm going to go with. Nothing too fancy. I don't see a point in making it super fancy because I don't feel like that's absolutely necessary. But I think we have our bridge shape. So, time to build. So this is what I have so far. Obviously, it's going to have to go down a bit further, but I'm also thinking... Like, currently the columns just kind of snap partway under the surface. Something else I was thinking was, since this is all slabs, about maybe beefing up the middle a little. But not full block depth. Just to give it a little bit more shape. You can only go so round in Minecraft, unfortunately. Nature of the blockiness of the game. It'd take a bit for me to drown, but I also can't see while I'm underwater. Something like that. And I might actually fill in the sidewalk under it as well to bring that down just a little bit further. Ooh, I really like that. Anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up the bridge. I'll be back. Currently I have full bright on because otherwise it gets hard to see because of the water. But it does go all the way down. And my rule of thumb with something like a structural support is if it can be seen from the outside, we have it go all the way down to the bottom. Not quite how you do it IRL, but you'd also like dig way down, dig out all the blocks and everything. But it wouldn't be blocks either. Anywho, I think it's passable. I still need to put like the slabs on the other side as well as the smooth stone slabs. I think I have everything I need for that. Shouldn't take too awfully long here. Be quicker if I fly. But we are going to need some more cobble slabs and smooth stone slabs. Let's see. That. Because I wanted to bring it down a bit more. You can only get so much out of it though. I discovered long ago. Sometimes your wings will deploy while you're swimming around. And can be very annoying. But this, at least for now, unless I figure out another way to do some more detail with it, I think this is gonna do for the bridge. And we're fly mode again. No, we might just be having ping issues. I don't know what's up with that. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for the bridge. And I have no idea how much footage I have. But I was also hoping to get to the iron farm today. At least functionally speaking. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. So, since the last actual recorded clip, it's been a little bit for me. We've had Christmas. I'm actually recording this on New Year's Day. I was told to record when I log in because Christmas gift stuff, I think. So, here we go. I also have a couple of other little clips to record as well. Ah, there it is. I have a mushroom. That's one of the clips here. How am I supposed to open that? That's a XP's. Alright. Oh, also I should probably spin that. Open recording. Yay! Bunch of redstone blocks. And glowstone! Anyways, the other two things to mention, and I could probably say it in this particular clip. I'll have to stop and restart for the next part. There was actually a live stream in between, and during said live stream is when, let's see. Well, the first clip is I had to think for a second there. The very first clip of it is I accidentally got sniper dueled.
That makes no sense. Oops, I did that. But did all 6 of them just come out at once? Oh, they all went in at once. Interesting. Okay.
As for the second clip, and I haven't actually moved since I paused for the last one. The other thing is, I got the return trip, but Panda and I went and got some mushrooms, which is where those guys came from, which we will be watching the whole trip. Just one quick little clip here before I get started on it. I keep playing different games. Keyboard. key presses are wrong. I'm gonna try and get this done for this episode, and then I don't know about getting villagers or zombies in. We'll see how it goes, and I'll be back in a little while, hopefully to finish up the episode. Alright, so we have this finished all the way up to the point of where it's ready for villagers and the zombie. I'm gonna have to fiddle with it to get the zombie in. I think I might do him last. Also, I think I messed up the blueprint because I think those don't actually have blocks in the blueprint. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever. Because I ended up 4 short, and I don't know why. Yeah, but I'm going to have to fiddle with the villagers and such next, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. I'll see you all in a little bit. This is definitively the final clip for this episode. It works. Took forever. The zombie was actually the hardest part here. I was using my gas and floating them all in. And the iron farm is now working. So now, it'll take some time, but I will have enough iron blocks to actually make a beacon and do some other stuff. And, yeah, I have an idea for what to put around it. And also I do still, of course, have the cleanup to do, but anyways, and for our... Really? Really, guy? Really? No. Come on. Other side, of course. And you just sail right off. That's one of those few things that I dislike. Sometimes it grabs immediately, and sometimes you just have all this excess momentum. I'll probably figure something out. It shouldn't be spawning up there, but anyways. Obviously there's going to be some debugging involved. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you enjoyed, do be sure to hit that like button. And if you really enjoyed, then do be sure to hit the subscribe button for the next episode. And as always, always remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.